Good evening everybody. I actually just messed it up. I didn't have my Wi-Fi on, so let's hope this broadcast's okay. I want to just share this into the Everyday Man group. Where else can we share this, guys? I don't know, that'll do for now. Alright, so I just got back from an incredible retreat working alongside my brother Leon Christensen. It was the Pinnacle Peak Men's Retreat, named after Leon's father, who took his life about 15 years ago. I was there to support Leon in this, and it was not working with a group of men that I've ever worked with before. These are rural guys, mainly from sort of North Queensland. And when I mean rural, they're farmers, the bulk of them, a couple of miners thrown in there. They're men of the earth. You know, your tough old exterior ochre, we used to call them here in Australia. So I wasn't sure of the effectiveness of the way I did things because, you know, the backbone of my foundation work is based off gratitude, breathing, meditation, yoga, alongside, you know, Bruce Lipton's work, David Deida, Steve Biddulph, and I didn't know how it would be taken. So between Leon and I, we came up with an incredible program and we took a crack at it. And what happened was, I don't know if it's a bit presumptuous of me to say almost a miracle. I watched a 70-year-old farmer meditate, do breath work, and attempt yoga for the first time in his entire life. I then proceeded to watch a whole bunch of other farmers do exactly the same thing. No one resisted, no one fought it. Everyone open-minded, open heart, accepted everything that was offered to them. And I was humbled beyond belief. I'd done a men's mindset boot camp a couple of weeks before, and there were a group of men there, and probably 75% of them were men who were in personal development. They know what they're doing, they know meditation, they know breath work, they know the tools. And of that group, 60% failed to step into the resistance in just about everything we offered them. Now, I bring that up purely just because I think I broke a stereotype this weekend, and that is one of the hard-ass rural farmer in Australia who does it tough, who has blinkers on, doesn't want to accept new knowledge, is very rigid in his thinking. And I watched every single time Leon and I offered them something, they opened their minds, absorbed it, asked questions, tore into it, and never once said no. Whether it was going into the father wound, using a little bit of David Deida and Steve Biddulph, whether it was working through the knowledge of the process of knowledge and wisdom, whether it was doing Alan Watts meditation work, whether it was teaching them my own version of noisy breath. These guys just not once. I mean, you know, the 70-year-old on the second day stood up and said, I haven't been free of back pain 30 years. And I just stood there. And I got to admit, I had to choke back tears because, you know, I'm the hard ass of the group between Leon and I. I'm the one that's there to sort of push these guys beyond. And, you know, to be honest with you, I didn't even have to play that role very much because they did it themselves. When we talked about the father wounds and we talked about the role that fathers play and we talked about the difference between demonizing and humanizing the father, I watched men change almost on the spot. And again, I didn't expect that level of result and that level of change so quickly. So I guess I wanted to share today, if anyone bothers to take the time to watch this, that if you're a male or if you've got a male in your family or in your life that's struggling, I think we're at a turning point or a point in when I say men's evolution, where we're starting to see a real definite desire to change. And what we really need to do is a little bit of pushing and shoving, but in a very gentle and compassionate way. Men have been lost for quite a while, and there's many reasons for it. You know, the rise of the feminine, and then them taking on the masculine because of the dropout of the masculine. Like it's all long and very confusing. The point being is that I think that men are ready to start this next phase. And I think it's going to take an incredible amount of courage and determination on our part as men to support each other and to talk about the things that we learn openly and sincerely. But I also think that we need a hell of a lot of help from women out there as well. You know, I know that men have, in some respects, probably dropped the ball a little bit because there's been a lot of confusion. But I also think that they haven't been supported very well. I think there's a lot of stupid government money being thrown at mental health. I think there's a lot of labels being created, and I think there's a shitload of prescriptions being handed out. I think very few people have actually bothered to connect with these men. Yeah, and I think that we've got a real lack of empathy. I think that we've got this attitude that men are the evil criminals of the world, and the truth of that is that we've got some horrible corporate criminals that run this planet. Yes, that's not a discussion I want to get into, but the problem is just because I'm white and just because I'm middle-aged, and that doesn't make me an evil person. And if you want to see change, you don't continue to demonize someone, because what will he continue to do? He'll continue to be the demon. So if we can't step into, I guess, the reality of where we're at, I think we're going to have a serious problem going forward. We're going to see a continued rise in domestic violence. We're going to see a rise in alcoholism, drug abuse. We're going to continue to hand out prescriptions like they're pieces of toilet paper. I'm going to see men suffer. Now, you know, the problem for me and my initial motivation for doing this men's work was actually more driven by my desire to help children than it was to help men. Because I believe that if I can help a man find himself and get back to where he belongs, then everyone in his family benefits from that. When a man steps into his energy and when he's stable and at peace, he gives the woman by his side a trusted and a safe place to be able to be a mum and nurture. She's able to step back into her feminine in a safe environment. Now when that happens, that allows his children to then find and step into their own journey instead of following his and making the mistakes that he did, like the sins of the father. So anyway, I could go on and on about this because I'm deeply touched. I mean, I can see these guys on that last day, you know, wanting to do a meditation before they left. You know, and these are rural guys, these are farmers, you know, they're used to riding tractors and combines. They're putting food on your tables. They drink hard, they play hard, they work even harder. And they open their hearts and open their minds to everything we had to offer. And I got some people talking to me, so how rude am I? Sorry guys, I get a bit caught away. So, Christy, my friend, how are you? Nate, big dog, how are you? Nat, how are you? I think I have to say a quick thank you to Natalie Cox. She's just said hi. I was dubious about Natalie's presence. She zoomed into the group on the weekend. I wasn't dubious about her. I was dubious about her message and how it would be taken by a bunch of farmers. And it blew my mind what happened. And I got served a little bit of humble pie and in an incredibly good way. And what it's done is expand my idea of how we can use the message she's got, because what she's got to talk about is an incredibly powerful part of not only an individual, as in a male and a female, but also in couples. So today I've actually started developing retreat programs, men's intimacy and a women's intimacy and a couple's intimacy. And I'm hoping that somewhere along the line I'll get to introduce you guys to Nat, and we'll talk about her work a little bit more. I believe she has a huge role to play in helping not only educate men and women separately, but also I believe in helping me with the resentment side, because we have a lot of relationships together and broken up where resentment is a key component in destruction. And a lot of that is based around intimacy, especially from the male side, but also from the female. I'm getting lost now. We could sort of start talking and going for ages and ages. I want to say thanks to you guys for jumping on and for saying, how's it? I'm probably going to try and grab my good friend Leon and do a bit of a joint live with the two of us now, so we can talk about, I think, the insights or something that we both saw out of this group of men, and also to talk a little bit about what we're going to do in the future, because this has opened our eyes to the potential of the two of us working together. And you're going to see us dropping retreat dates, from women's retreats to more men's retreats to more mindset boot camps out in the bush where I'm going to break you guys open. Intimacy retreats for couples, women's and men. Father-son work, you name it. I'm at it. I'm on a mission. I'm going to change this space a little bit and keep it sincere and very simple. And I'm going to work on results. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. I look forward to chatting with you all again soon. Please, if there's anything that resonated, a lovely cliche of a word, please just drop me a comment, send me a message. Always keen to collaborate, learn, talk. find ways for me to get better at what I do and help others get better at what they do. Cheers, guys.